Let's talk history, and I'm actually going to use my Sephardic Jew, West Indian, and Choctaw Native American ancestors to do so. We are about to line up how private property existed amongst these groups. However, in the form and terms of colonialism, they made it seem as if it did not. Now, when we begin to look at Hebraic aspects in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter and the 22nd chapter, we can see where the law of trespassing on private property existed. When I began to look at my ancestors, who happened to be Sephardic Jews in Ireland, they owned their own farmland. Many of them had acres of farmland. And when Great Britain came into Ireland, they forced the sale of the farmland because they did not have European land deeds. When they began to be Holocaust in 1848 in Ireland and forced out of Ireland, some of them went into the Caribbean, which we have my Jameson side of the family, and they continued to be farmers there. Some of them went into Natchez, Mississippi, amongst the Choctaw Native American, where part of my other family were. These Choctaw Native American began to experience the exact same things that the Sephardic Jews in Ireland did. The Choctaw Native American ancestors that I had, they lived not only on the reservation, some of them had acres upon acres of land. And after the Civil War, because their land deeds did not meet the aspect of colonization, their land was forcibly taken away from them. It is a European construct to make you believe that you as an African person never had private property, never had ownership rights, never had laws, statutes, and commandments that somebody could just come and invade and trespass on your property. People of the Most High God, it is very important for us to stop taking definitions as they are given to us and read them and dissect them in comparison with what we know our true history to be. By accepting these dogmatic tactics, they have been able to come in time and time again to take from us what is rightfully ours. We're going to come back again with another video about this. Food for thought. We're going to start with the source, and it's very important to go to Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Israel, seeing as if the Bantu West Africans began to say that this is where they came from. Scholarship.kentlaw.iit.edu, Chicago Kent Law Review, October 1995, Ancient Land Law, Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Israel, Volume 71, Issue 1. And excuse me while I jump around. This is going to be page 17 through like 21, Private Property and Land. To an unblinking reader of formalist ancient texts, the Pharaoh owned all the land in ancient Egypt and Yahweh all in Israel. Contrarily, for more than a century, some commentators have asserted that ancient man knew only of communal property. Evidence of actual social practices in ancient settings belies both of these reductionist perspectives. This part demonstrates that in all historical periods, some lands in ancient Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Israel were held as private property. Private property connotes both a type of owner and core set of entitlements. This discussion in this part assumes that a private owner is either an individual, a nuclear household, or a household extended to include sons, wives, and children. A private landowner's basic entitlements are the right to exclude trespassers, the privilege of deciding how the land is to be used, and the power at death to pass ownership interests in the land to successors. The civilizations of the ancient Near East conferred entitlements along these lines, but like other societies that honor private property also hedged the entitlements in certain aspects. Evidence of private land ownership. Land and economics theory suggests that a society is almost certain to devolve to private property responsibilities for dwelling maintenance and hard to monitor agricultural operations. Case in point, nomadic people, which these Semitic people were. In the three ancient civilizations, small family units indeed tended to dominate these land activities. All commentators agree from the earliest periods of ancient Near East history, free family households, even the poorest of them, typically owned their own houses and garden plots. Although some stone and wood was in use, the basic domestic building material was mud and brick, at times reinforced with straw. These are the mound builders, not pyramid builders, mound builders. Of the three civilizations, Israel seems to have had the most prioritized private systems of archaeology. The Hebrew Bible is rifled with incidents and rules involving farmers, fields, vineyards, and orchards. Israelites' practice were hardly exceptional for its region. There have been much debate over the extent of private land tenure in southern Mesopotamia during the 3rd millennium, the earliest historical period. An outdated view holds that the Sumerian culture then recognized only institutional or communal ownership of arable land, and that the Semitic immigrants imported the alien institution of private land ownership, bringing it first to Akkad toward the end of the millennium. Semites created private land.